friends, welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be, unfortunately, talking about the worst books that I read in 2021. For one, I can't believe this year's over. I don't know, I feel like it went so fast and there was a lot of ups and downs this year. I had a lot of changes and a lot of new things happening. I graduated college at the end of last year. I student taught for a while, then I got a different job that has been very taxing and tiring. I bought a house, I lost my dog, like a lot of things happened this year, and through all of that I still managed to read about 42 to 43 books, which definitely not as much as years prior, but considering everything that was going on in my life, I still am glad that I took the time or had the time to read books. So I do hope next year is better, but because I didn't read as many books, I have less bad ones to talk about, luckily. So I was going to do a top 5 list this year, but I was going for any book that I read that was under 3 stars. So ones that I rated 2 or 1, whatever, and there were only 4. So instead of trying to just pick a 3-star book that I, was just average and be like, okay, I'm gonna add this in the worst, I'm just gonna talk about the 4 books that I disliked the most this year, and we're gonna go from there. So this shouldn't be a super long video since there's only 4. I'm going to talk about the books and why I didn't like them, and then tomorrow will be my best. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video so you make sure you get to see my best video tomorrow. But for now, we're going to talk about the 4 worst books of 2021. The first book that I'm going to talk about is actually a sequel, and it was one of the first 5 books that I read in 2021. So I was kind of worried that the year was going to end up being very bad. But that is The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. I cannot tell you, I'm saying this is bad, but also disappointing, obviously. I was expecting to really enjoy this series. I love Renee Ahdieh as a writer. The Wrath and the Dawn duology is one of my favorites ever, and I really enjoy her writing style. And I did read the first book in the series, The Beautiful, and gave it a 4-star, and I was excited to see where we were going. Unfortunately, where things went was not where I wanted them to go. I wouldn't consider this book boring, but it did a lot of plot things that I really didn't like. It had a lot of angsty teenage things that I didn't like. I am very picky about YA anymore, and so that could have had something to do with it, but I am not the only person who was very disappointed in this book. I buddy read this with my friend Ariel, and we were both super stoked to read it, and it just turned out so disappointing and really not great. There were only a couple scenes that kept me excited to even finish the book. I considered DNFing it, and obviously Renee Ahdieh's writing style still made it easy to get through, so I managed. But I was, again, very disappointed, and I will not be continuing the series at this point, just from everything that I read in that one. If you didn't know what the first book is about, it is set in the 1870s in New Orleans. We are following our main character, Celine, and she discovers the paranormal exists in the real world. And that's the most I'm going to say, and you've probably already know it, it's a vampire book. So that really had me intrigued, but unfortunately didn't work out. So that is one of the worst books, unfortunately, I read this year. The next one I read was recommended to me by a friend. I had asked 2 of my friends back in March for all of their favorites that they thought I should read, and I picked them up. And so, to preface this book, I read The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton and very much loved it. I think it stands up as a classic novel. However, that was then, this is now by S.E. Hinton. I don't agree. I gave this one a 2-star, and this is a book that I threw and or angry cried or one of those things when I finished it because of how annoyed I was with the ending. I completely, looking back, completely respect what the author did, but I didn't like it, and it made me mad. So I rated it poorly. I think that S.E. Hinton has a good writing style, and what happened in this book was fine, but the ending is pretty much what made me not like it at all. And so this follows two characters, Brian and Mark, and they are as close as brothers, but they are not related, and they have grown up together and are best friends and kind of just do like teenage angsty things. This does take place in the same world as The Outsiders, and they kind of just start to grow apart, and it kind of discusses some of those aspects, and by the end of the book we get to a big point that I'm not going to talk about, but it was the main reason that this went further down for me to a 2, and it just left me really upset and angry, and yeah, I didn't like it. So I know that that's kind of hard, like it's not really a review or anything, but just me personally with how the story went, I just didn't like it. So that's why I consider it a bad book. One of my worst read books of the year. Then we have The Child Finder by Renee Denfield, and my biggest problem with this was the writing and how it incorporated mystical elements into a dark topic thriller. Now, I like, to a point, mystical writing and like the fantastical, whimsically writing style in the appropriate book, but in this case, with the fact that this is talking about an abducted child and I don't really know if the way the book's written, I don't know if I would classify them as just a kidnapper, a pedophile, I don't know, but it just was written so whimsically, it made me uncomfortable, and I did not think it worked. I thought it clashed a lot, and I didn't really like the character detective we were following, and just how things were written just made me so uncomfortable, and the ending wasn't satisfying. It was just like not a good thriller, and adding that writing style on top of it, I just really disappointed, really didn't like it. I don't even know, like, maybe if you are just so in love with whimsical writing styles, it doesn't matter the genre, then maybe pick it up, but if you like your thrillers to just be thrillers, then don't pick it up, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So unfortunately, that one was a big miss for me, and all of these books have been taken off of my shelves immediately because I really didn't like them, and I don't keep books I don't like. So yeah, wouldn't recommend it and didn't like it. And the last book that I have to talk about is probably one of the most controversial of the year, and that is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. And this one was kind of disappointing for me in the aspect that I did want to like this book, but overall it just didn't vibe with me and it just didn't work. And you know, I respect that it worked for other people, but personally I didn't really like it. And so if you don't already know what this book is about, it's about a woman who gets involved with some missing persons at a college where her niece is attending school, and we are both following her in the present day trying to solve this mystery, and also having a few flashbacks to when she was married, as we find out early on that her husband passed away. And I really don't think I am that into dark academia stuff. I really get that vibe from this book, and like I also read Ninth House and I just thought it was average, and I know that I have other dark academia things on my TBR, and the more I read them, the more I worry that the other books I'm not gonna like, but hey, maybe that'll be a video for next year. And I really didn't like our main character. I didn't like her enough, the fact that I can't even remember her name. I guess I can look it up. Her name is Mariana. There, I looked it up. I thought she was annoying. I didn't think she was a very good therapist, as she's pitched as a therapist, and I thought that she was kind of unstable. And the other big downfall for me was the plot twist. I thought it was not very good, in my opinion. I don't know what I was expecting, but I will say that it was shocking, but not in a way that I appreciated. So I just overall didn't like the book. I do like Alex Michaelides' writing style. I did like The Silent Patient, so that's pretty much where the 2-star rating comes from, as I'm pretty much saying I did not like anything about this book. And it's honestly also hard for me to rate books like 1 star. I've only done that a couple times. Yeah, Kitten's just joining this video. I hope you're okay with that. But yeah, unfortunately, that one was another big miss, and it would be one of my worst books of the year. If I had to pick which one was the worst book, or if I had to rank them, I would probably go from best to worst. The Damned, I would probably the order I just talked about them in, actually. The Damned, That Was Then, This Is Now, The Childfinder, or no. The Childfinder is the worst. The Maidens is above The Childfinder, so there's a little switch there. So The Childfinder would be the worst book that I read, in my opinion. So there we have it. Those are my worst books of 2021. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these and you disagree or agree with me that they were not good. And also if you have best and worst videos of 2021, please let me know in the comments. I would love to check them out and see what some of your reading habits led to this past year. I guess we're almost in 2022. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like I said, give it a like. And if you are interested in seeing the best books of 2021, then be sure to keep a lookout for tomorrow, as that was when that will be going up. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!